Welcome to The Quad, CCB's sport podcast. I'm Simon Hill, Deputy Head at Christ College, and I'm delighted that you've joined us as we discuss all the latest sports news at the school. We'll cover global sporting issues and also spend time with invited guests, all of whom have specialisms or interest in the world of sport. This is The Quad.
And welcome everyone back to episode 2 of The Quad. Thank you so much for your efforts last week. It was great. First episode went brilliantly, and I'm really pleased to welcome you all back to second episode. And I'm really, we're honoured really, aren't we? Let's be honest, to have our very special guest with us today, which is the one and only Miss Hardman. So I'm thankful that she's given up her time to come and see us today. And I know we've got some great questions. But before we do, Miss, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a brief sporting background of yourself and your sporting interests.
I grew up at a similar school to Christ College where I played hockey, netball and tennis year in, year out. But also beyond that, absolutely love anything outdoorsy, so skiing, surfing, mountain biking, sailing, that sort of thing.
Excellent. And Mrs. leading the ski trip this year, so we're all very excited. That's the first ski trip we've had for a long time. I think back to COVID, there was one. Ben, you probably think better than me.
Like 4 years ago.
5 years ago. So it's exciting that we've got a ski trip back. So well done, Miss, for getting that up and running. Okay, so we're looking forward to lots of chat today about sports, things that have gone on in the last week, CCB fixtures, CCB results, and then just the general all-round sports roundup that we're going to have a look at. So we're going to start off with just notable mentions, really, from people at CCB who have done some really special things this week. Can you tell me about Finn Willis? What's Finn been up to?
Well, he's been mountain biking. We know really well. Fair play to him.
Yeah, he's been doing some great mountain biking. His last race of the season, 7th place he finished, and he's put a lot of effort. And I'm not sure if you've seen the picture or the video on Instagram, but he goes down that hill so fast.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked that out,
I don't know how he does that quick. I mountain bike myself, and I cannot do it anywhere near that speed.
Scary.
Yeah, it is terrifying.
It looks really scary what he's doing. So Finn, congratulations, well done. Good luck for the rest of your season and next season indeed. So Amelia Tinch, congratulations Amelia. Selection for the Welsh sailing squad again this year. And Miss Tilly Corbett had some good news this week.
Yeah, Tilly Corbett, she has made it through the phase 2 selection for the NAGs, so National Age Group Squad for under 18 hockey, and when they're looking to retain an under 16 squad as well to take forward to the Fives tournament next summer. So amazing news from Tilly.
That's awesome, brilliant. So that's kind of round up from guys in school. We've got to put a big shout out, I think, to the Cardiff Half Marathon crew that ran. Anybody know anybody who ran this weekend in the Cardiff Half?
Well, Max Burgess from the Day Hub, I was really proud to see him running. So is Strava, cracking time to be fair, and yeah, he put a lot of training in, so big shout out to Max. Excellent, strong run.
I love that, well done. And a couple of staff members as well. Miss Goodrich, I know, ran. Who else was Miss Hopkin?
Miss Hopkin
ran.
Miss
Ashdown. And a certain Mr. McLean. Does he get a certain can you get a mention on the quads?
Well, yeah, Mr. McLean, he gets a mention on the quad.
Mr. McLean,
he also ran.
How did he feel afterwards? Was he all right?
Well, I think his legs were pretty tired, but he came through.
You got through. Good man. Right. Come on then. Let's have a little chat about the sport that's gone on. Rugby World Cup kind of catch up. Who's been watching? What have you been watching? Has anyone enjoyed watching anything?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been watching. Watching all of it really. I was working yesterday, so yeah, we had them on a big TV in work. So yeah, the Portugal game, I think that was really something. I think watching them get that first try right at the start. That was
great, wasn't it? I think Australia were rattled for a good.
I think they've been rattled all for the whole World Cup. To be honest, I think they were expecting to go there and put 50 points on them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching Portugal as well. I think they play this kind of refreshing brand of rugby, which is really quite attractive. And not really to the script of all the other top tier nations. They're playing this kind of off the cuff, really kind of exciting brand. But unfortunately that's to their detriment as well, because they play a really high risk kind of style of rugby. But then that kind of the wheels kind of fall off, and that they kind of pay the price then when they lose the ball. But Portugal have been the kind of outstanding kind of second tier nation for me. How about the All Blacks, guys? Are we tracking them? Ben?
I think Aaron Smith, just to get a hat-trick inside the first 33 minutes, is just ridiculous. I mean, and we're talking about as well an All Blacks team who were questioned and maybe they weren't going to perform so well. I think it just shows the constant standard of rugby over there, that even in one of their more average spells, some people would argue they're still putting, how much is it, 86 points on a Six Nations team. That's
How many tries? I think I can't remember.
Oh, too many.
I think it was 96-17 the final.
Yeah, it's
score.
96-17, so
That's
a lot of tries.
A lot of tries,
Well,
you know, and that is again what you're saying, Ben, is that they're pretty kind of going through a bit of a downturn, aren't they? It's quite interesting. I wonder how much Ireland are looking forward to their quarter final.
Yeah, I think especially when, like a few weeks ago, at the start, when people were saying that New Zealand was going to be the easier game out of the quarterfinals, I genuinely don't think that anymore. I think after watching New Zealand tear it up the last 2 weeks, it's scary how good they're looking. I know what you said about Aaron Smith. He is world class. It's some of the stuff he does is I can't believe it.
Yeah,
Del, have you
I
watching
love
anything,
about
you guys?
Yeah, just what I love about the All Blacks is just the depth of their squad. I mean, you get one world-class player and suddenly retires, and then you've got another young up-and-coming world-class player, and it's just the depth of their squad's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
I think it's mental how old Aaron Smith is and consistently doing what he's doing, providing performances for the All Blacks.
They're top quality performances as well, aren't they? You know, he's not just turning up and rolling out. He's absolutely leading the charge every single game. It's excellent. They were impressive, and as I said, I think Ireland will be. I don't know. I don't think they'll be worried, but it's kind of that side of the draw is just really intense. That quarter-final match will be one to watch for sure. Have the pre-season games for the Welsh regions, have they started and kicked off?
Yeah, Cardiff played Scarlets. It was Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not really too sure. They beat them 21-12, and it was good because Cardiff put a really young squad out. They had Lucas Dover who were playing. He was actually at school the other day.
Yeah.
Doing our WIU Colleges League press conference thing, which was really good to see. And Dragons got a clenching win over Ospreys 2019.
It was tight. I think those guys are then rotating now next week in preparation for the season opener. So Ospreys will play Cardiff, and then the Dragons will play the Scarlets, which will be good. Wales women rugby team, they got off to a good start with their match in Colwyn Bay against the USA. Really thumping victory for them, 38-18, which is great. And then just a little bit on the times, Jack, if you don't mind, for the winners of the Cardiff half, and just put into a bit of context how quick that might be.
Yeah, so on the men's side, Vincent Mutai, and on the women's side, Mess Stewart, Fakir, they both clinched victory in the 2023 Cardiff Half Marathon. So the times on the men's side, you've got 1 hour and 34 seconds. On the women's side, 1 hour, 8 minutes, 12. Both very strong times. You see there, the African dominance continues. On the men's side, Kenya. On the women's side, Ethiopia. I think those nations are certainly very difficult to challenge, even on our home soil here in the UK, with the big home support. So yeah, they really did show dominance.
Have you done the Cardiff half course before?
No, the longest I've ran is 8-9 miles, so a little bit long for me. But
I'm just wondering how that course kind of. I know the course, but I've never run it, so I know the course. It's quite flat.
I think so.
It's quite a flat course.
Speedy course. The times would reflect that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, brilliant. Miss, how have our teams got on this week? So I think some netball's been going on and some hockey's been going on.
Yeah, so to touch on the netball, we've had our, just today, our under-16 South Powers tournament. Amazing performance from the girls in year 10 and 11 to go through to the next round undefeated today with 5 from 5 wins. And last Wednesday, a similar squad of girls also won the South Powers hockey tournament, and again, unbeaten all the way through, and I think they scored 23 goals, conceded 0, so
wow.
Amazing from that year group of girls.
Quite a day for the office for the keeper then, was it?
Yeah, I think Holly got 2 touches in the whole tournament, so...
Okay, that's amazing. So good stuff, well done. Kudos to the under-16s, amazing stuff. Mark, what's been going on in the world of cricket?
It's been a busy week actually. So it's been the end of the domestic English summer, which ended in a farce. It ended with a washout of the last ODI against Ireland, but Duckett still managed to grab a century in that. An impressive performance from him to end the domestic summer. It is also World Cup week.
Yes.
There is currently, as we speak, a World Cup qualifier ongoing, where England are playing Bangladesh and are chasing down 189. in a reduced overs 50 over game
And where's that taking place?
in India.
India. And why is it reduced weather?
Weather.
Let's see, good stuff. So that kicks off pretty soon as well, doesn't it, the World Cup? So
Yes, this week.
this week,
So
excellent
this is
stuff.
a warm-up game.
Good, brilliant. And big weekend coming up ahead for the Welsh team. Their last pool match. They need 1 point to win the group, I think.
Yes.
So go through as group
Yeah.
winners. All teams being announced today. What are we thinking?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a reduced team. No, well, first thing that stuck out with me, no Jack Morgan, but it sort of makes sense considering how hard he's been playing.
I think he's played all 3 games as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, probably he's been captain. So,
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me there. But it's still a pretty strong side. It looks pretty good. So we've got Thomas in the prop, Derry Lake is captain. Not really surprised, good captain, good player. Thomas Francis, Will Rowlands, David Jenkins, Alan Wainwright, Tommy Reffel, Talubi Falatau in the pack, which is a very strong pack, fair play. There's a lot of old boys in there, experienced players. We've got Thomas Williams, Gareth Anscombe, Rio Dyer, Nick Tompkins, George North, Louis Zammit and Liam Williams. So overall it's a really, really strong squad.
Yeah, I think the 2 players, Falatau and Reece Zammit, they played all 4.
Yeah.
So they're the only 2. So good kind of rotation there from Gatland as well, kind of to make sure that people get a good kind of mix. But it's tough going because if they're going to play again in the quarters, you know, I get it. Reece Zammit, you know, the amount of minutes or miles he's got under his belt.
Yeah,
but Falatau will have done some serious graft.
Oh, especially at 8 as well. Such a physical position.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good. So that's next weekend, next Saturday, I think, at 2 o'clock. So we're looking forward to that one. Yeah. Well, who do they get if they win that?
Or
They go through. I think it's Argentina or Japan.
Yeah, it's Argentina or Japan. It is, yeah.
Yeah, and then if England beat Fiji in the quarters, it'd be England. Well, Fiji or Australia.
Excellent.
I presume it'll be.
Sounds good.
Fiji.
Right. Sports news then, and the results from the previous week for Christ College Brecon. Hockey went off to Hereford Cathedral School Darts, yeah? How'd that go?
Yeah, it was quite a good game. It's quite hard fought by us. Like, we went there thinking Hereford were going to be quite a strong team and weren't sure what the score was going to be. But with a 3-0 outcome, lost it.
Score at half time though?
No.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so we battled hard.
Yeah, they scored their last 3 in like the last 10 minutes, which is
Okay. Yeah, that's
great result.
gutting, really.
Yeah.
After putting up a great fight of it. But
Yeah.
and the other guys, so the juniors, again, I think Hereford's kind of hockey's going quite well at the moment throughout the year groups, yeah?
Yeah.
They're pretty good, so I think quite a tough kind of match-up for the rest of the guys there. But good. Do we play them again, or is that the only time?
No, just the one block this year.
Okay.
Under 12s and under 13s, just a little shout out for them because they played back to back against the under 12s played both of their under 12 and under 13 Bs, and the under 13s played both of their A teams. So a little tournament for them, which went really well.
Brilliant. Right, rugby. Busy week of rugby as well. How did they first get on last week? 2 games?
Yeah, 2 games. Rough week for us, to be honest. Started on Wednesday against Gal College, first round of the Welsh Colleges League. Tough opponents, strong side, a lot of physical boys, but to be honest, we just didn't turn up. The weather conditions were awful. Like I think it was about 10 minutes left, it started sideways raining, so that was tough. But yeah, it was a tough loss to take really, because I think we were definitely could have been the better team, and we just didn't turn up on the day. But we look forward to Saturday then. We travelled down to Clifton, which is a Daily Mail fixture, and put up a really good performance. We did lose that 26-0, I think it was, but it was a really, really strong performance from us, and definitely what we needed, because it's really boosted our confidence going into the Colleges League, because we went down there not really sure what to expect against the full Clifton side.
Yeah.
I think something like 13 out of the 15 starting team were all Bristol under 18s, so it was definitely a tough day.
Yeah,
but we went down there and absolutely stuffed them physically.
I think if we looked at the stats and when we get the video through, we can kind of analyse that territory. We have about 80% territory in terms of Christ College Brecon. We were camped in their 22 for most of the game.
We were smashing them.
But unfortunately, when they visited our 22, they came away with points, and they kept that kind of scoreboard ticking over and that scoreboard pressure, and And I think then we started to try a little bit too hard when we got into their 22, and then as a result, we just didn't kind of get that
I think
scoreboard ticking over.
I think there's an element of a lack of trust in the squad as well. I think that's where it's happening. So I think if we'd kept it going through the forwards a little bit more down in the 22, we would have got a few points on the board, but so we haven't been very clinical this season yet.
Yeah.
So when we get that clinical start coming in, we'll start taking points over and winning games hopefully.
Brilliant. It's great that Clifton College is back on our fixture card, by the way. That's the first time we played them in, I would say, around about 10 years.
Beautiful school.
Lush school, isn't it? It's beautiful there. A nice pitch to play on. First time in 10 years we played them, so it's great that they want to play us. And our juniors went over, had some brilliant games against their junior teams as well. So it's a really worthwhile fixture, and hopefully we're going to do that one again next year. Dylan, what's coming up in the world of Christ College this week?
We got a busy Wednesday. We got girls hockey under 13s against Bedstone College at home, which should be a good game, and then girls hockey first against Pates Grammar away.
That's right.
And then we've got a badminton game, seniors against
I'm really looking
Luckton.
forward to that one. So the badminton game is against Luckton on Wednesday, and we play a lot of badminton fixtures throughout the season, and it's a great opportunity to get our badminton team up and running. So that's a really good one to look out for. The results next week. How's it looking then for any rugby?
We got a big game Wednesday, college league game against Bridgend College, which is at home. So we're looking to get a win in that one, hopefully.
First home game of the season as well for in that league. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
And then we got a boys rugby under 15s game against Penrith, which is also home.
Yeah.
And then a girls hockey under 11s game against Hereford Cathedral School away.
Fantastic. And Mark, we have a football match on Wednesday.
We have the first football fixture of the season against Sennybridge FC.
It is.
And I'm massively excited for that. I'm hoping I'm going to be starting, but obviously Owen Smythe is captain. We've been looking at some draft teams.
Team selection will be all important there. It's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to that. It's a regular fixture which I think will happen every week or every other week, which will be good. But yeah, it's great to get some regular football happening. Ben, Saturdays.
So on Saturday the girls are away to Malvern, so that should be a really good fixture.
Malvern St James, that one I think.
Malvern St James, good school. Should be a great game, and I think that looks like a bit of a block fixture.
Yeah.
So that's the under 12s, under 13s, and the under 15s all going down. Actually, no, they're coming up to us for the under 13s and under 12s and under 15s, but the first girls are away.
Great stuff. Busy week. We wouldn't have it any other way here at Christ College. Right, on to our anticipated section. Thank you, Miss Harden, for being here with us. We're really honoured to have you and for you giving up your busy schedule. We've got some questions for you that the panel have all decided to ask. So I'm going to throw it over to Mark, please, to ask the first one.
Yeah, so Miss, what inspired you to become a PE teacher, and how has your journey been in this field so far?
Selfishly, my inspiration for being a PE teacher was actually I was looking at what I could do that would get me a professional qualification, mean I could work anywhere in the world and get lots of time on holiday. I started off my PE teacher journey there and thought I'll do this for a couple of years or until I stop enjoying it, and I think I'm on year 9 or 10 now, so it's been pretty good so far. The across the world bit's taken me to a little island off the coast of Malaysia called Penang, and also to the Netherlands, living and working in Amsterdam and teaching over there.
Nice.
Growing up, Miss, have you always had a passion for sports? And what were your favourite sports and why?
Always had a passion for sports, absolutely. It's pretty much always been my life. My favourite sports, I continue this day to be very fickle with that. Whatever sport is currently being played or I was currently playing would always be my favourite. So hockey term, it was hockey. Netball term, it was netball, and we did tennis back in the summer when I was at school, so tennis was always my favourite summer sport. Nowadays, I love skiing, and I also still play a lot of tennis, which I really enjoy, especially when I get to beat Mr. Patterson.
That's a draw, Miss. It's a draw. Can't say
we
that
played about
live.
20 sets.
Can't say that live on the pod. It's a definite draw. We are literally drawing as well. So, and I only started playing tennis at the beginning of this year, so I'm not doing too bad. Right, Jack, over to you.
Hi, Miss. I was wondering if you had a specific or memorable sports-related experience from your own school days, maybe one that influenced your teaching approach.
Not a specific experience as such, but when I was at school, I used to spend a lot of time on the Astro, whacking hockey balls at the goal, whether that was actually in a formal training session or just in my free time. And my coach at the time used to spend quite a bit of time with me before sessions where we just go down and shell a basket of balls into the goal, and it would just be my kind of offload time. And I hope that my teaching approach is like that, especially for the girls that I coach this season. It's just a place where it's not just about the hockey or just about the netball, but it's actually something that they can really enjoy and just a space away from daily pressures and daily life.
Brilliant.
So, Miss, in your opinion, how has the role of physical education evolved over the years, and what does it play in a student's overall development?
Yeah, I think the role's definitely evolved and probably getting more airtime than it did in the past. I think in terms of a student's overall development, just so hugely important, and I think we've really realised that since the COVID years of taking away those sort of team sports and human face-to-face interaction, just how important that environment of being part of a team, winning, losing, kind of irrelevant, but just doing something as part of a team, whether it's for the enjoyment, the commitment, the social interaction, just really, really important for in so many different ways beyond the actual physical skills that you're learning.
So, Miss, is there any specific sport or activities that you're particularly passionate about teaching?
Obviously, I love teaching hockey and netball, but also I really enjoy teaching swimming. The sort of significance of that is it's really, really rewarding. You see a huge improvement in pupils, sort of just even in one lesson, especially when you're teaching sort of not very confident swimmers or people who haven't been in the water before. And that was a really big part of my role in Malaysia. We had a lot of students who actually couldn't swim in their later teenage years. So I really enjoyed that, actually teaching them to swim and giving them a life skill.
Yeah, so Miss, what's been your best memory at Christ College back from sport so far?
Can I pick a few?
Of course.
So first one would have to be the girls' national final last year. They worked for 6 months towards that. Really, really special day, seeing them stepping out on the pitch down in Cardiff, and they played absolutely out of their skin. Second memory would be, we did a tournament last year towards the end of term, and it was called a Bigs and Littles tournament, so we divided the whole school from year 7 to year 13, all of the girls, and we split them into 4 teams. And within the red team or the yellow team, or whichever colour team they were in, they had an under 13 team, an under 15 team, and an under 18 team. They all played off throughout the afternoon with all of their points scoring towards it. It was just an amazing afternoon, seeing all of the little ones looking up to all of their first team heroes, and all of the senior girls helping out with the little ones. So as sort of a not looking at a competitive performance, that was a really, really good memory for me.
Brilliant. Right, I'm going to throw the quick fire round over to Darcy. So, quick fire round, 7 questions, 1 word answer, no pressure, Miss. Darcy, go.
What's your favourite sport?
Skiing.
Favourite food?
Steak or baby wells.
Favourite athlete?
I've picked 2, Maddie Hinch or Mary Earps, because goalkeepers are people too.
Favourite sports team?
Bath Rugby.
Favourite Olympic discipline?
Rogue, but guilty pleasure is watching curling.
Favourite sports venue?
Over the bridge, I'm afraid everyone, but it is the Rec, watching Bath play as a kid.
And the last one, Ronaldo or Messi?
Absolutely no pick. Let's go with Ronaldo because he's listed
Wrong.
first.
Outrageous.
Wrong.
Can't believe they put Ronaldo or Messi. Messi or Ronaldo. Disrespectful.
There's no or.
That's
It's
my
just-
But that's
preference.
clearly
That's
taken me
my
to the
bias.
bias of picking
That is my
Ronaldo.
bias.
because
Ronaldo's
he's
clearly
listed
better.
first.
He's the better athlete. I'll put that down. That's 100% true. Right, thank you so much, Miss. Thank you, Darcy.
Okay.
Well, that was probably the most entertaining part of the pod so far. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, everybody. Throwing it out there, we're back for the next segment of our pod. This is going to be a weekly theme. We're looking at the most iconic moments in sport. Last week we had Mary Decker at number 10, the athlete. This week, who have we got, Jack?
So this one, I think we'll all recognise immediately. It's the Hand of God. So the Hand of God was a goal that occurred during the FIFA World Cup of 1986 in the quarter-final against Argentina going against England. So Maradona basically used his left hand to punch the ball into the net, and the referee allowed the goal despite a massive protest from the English players. Maradona later famously said it was a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. So yeah, he no shame there. He just acknowledged the fact that he'd punched the ball into the goal. So yeah, this goal is often cited as one of the most controversial moments in World Cup history.
Can I just say as well, at that point, I was 3, so I don't really remember it. I certainly don't. But I remember growing up with that photo and seeing that iconic photo. And this is a time where there was no internet, there was no mobile phone. So you can imagine the papers, and I can remember seeing papers that years after, the papers went absolutely wild. And the kind of media storm that this kicked up, and there were tensions between the United Kingdom and Argentina at that time as well, which weren't helping, and it really was, to put it into context, it was a massive storm in world sport. Ben.
So not only did he score the most controversial goal, possibly in history, but he bagged himself a chance to be a part of a winner of the goal of the century, which happened within the same game. And this is when he began in his own half, dribbled past 5 English players, showcasing, exceptional ball control and agility, much like Messi does nowadays. And the goal is often regarded as one of the greatest individual goals in the history of football. I think that will continue.
Have you seen that goal?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that goal, quick YouTube search into that and just put Maradona goal of the century. It is unbelievable.
So despite the completely scarring effect of that goal on British culture, Maradona's performance in that match with both goals is widely considered one of the best and greatest individual displays in World Cup history. And it solidified his status as a soccer icon, or a football icon rather, and an iconic figure in the sport. These 2 moments, along with Maradona's incredible skill and charisma, continue to be celebrated and remembered by football fans.
Yes, absolutely.
Worldwide.
Yeah, for sure. And it is one of the most iconic things that have happened in football history, and you'll constantly see that on any type of TV World Cup repeats. That will be one of the most over the things which has been shown.
I think we'd probably expect that issues like that might be solved by a certain VAR, but looking ahead in the script,
absolutely.
Keep listening. In 5 minutes' time,
Yes.
we might debunk that theory.
VAR is going to be a big talking point for us in a little bit. So, last segment, what I really enjoyed last week, our rockers and shockers in sport. Who have the rockers been this week?
For me, that European Ryder Cup team has just been absolutely exceptional. It's been so good to watch as well. There's so much good sport on at the minute, and just seeing golf come into the schedule is just as good. But to see the boys win as well is.
Anyone else watch the golf? Anyone else know about the golf that was happening? No golf fans?
Absolutely no idea.
Not really. I think the team dynamic's quite interesting. Europe, USA, it's quite different. Nice to see, we often see Team GB or down England, Wales, etc. But to see a European team is quite unique.
It is, and I think part of that as well, the coming together and the cohesiveness of that team is quite special.
Yes.
They play a lot on the PGA circuit together, and there's been a lot of kind of press interest around this competition, particularly. The PGA have kind of been joined with, someone help me out, I've lost my train of thought, who's the...
Well, it's almost like how the Saudi Arabians with football, it's the same sort of thing, trying to buy out the leagues and all of this. It's something called like Live Free or...
Live Golf, well done Ben. Live Golf. So there's been a big kind of underdynamic here where Live Golf and PGA have been clashing. That seems to be put to bed now, but there was still a little bit of needle between all the players in between, and I think Rory McIlroy, I don't know if you saw any of that on the social media on the Saturday, I think that was, he had a big bust up. Did you see that, Ben?
Yeah, there seemed to be some unspoken niggle maybe between the two sides, all the live golfers and then all the non-live golfers, you can see some are standing for what they believe is right, and I think
absolutely. But
proven.
Ryder Cup won. Europe won the Ryder Cup.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, some great scenes at the end there, lots of people diving in the water, and it looked like a brilliant place to be. Snooker. Who's a snooker fan here? Anyone love watching the snooker? No?
I think fan is a stretch, but I didn't know of the event. Mark Williams, obviously quite a local athlete.
Definitely an athlete. Yeah, absolutely.
Winning the UK Open.
Yes.
Beating Mark Selby 10 frames to 7. Selby, who was in the final of the Crucible World Championships. So a highly impressive performance from Mark Williams, especially considering that there was commentary that he was close to his retirement and the end of his career at the end of the last World Championship.
Brilliant, absolutely. Thanks, Mark. Right, youngest footballer ever. Who's going to kind of open this up? I found this quite interesting. So this guy, Davian Kimbrough, he's the youngest person ever to play professional football in the United States. He's 13 years old, 7 months and 13 days. That's pretty impressive. He's playing against men. That's not an under-18 fixture. That's a full professional game. And what kind of got me as well was the previous record. You'd think it was more like 18 or 17. The previous record before that was 13 years and 9 months. So that's pretty impressive, I think. So he's obviously had an absolute rocker of a week. And then, Jack, lead us into the next one.
We saw the World Road Mile Champs, and I think the standout performance to me was Callum Elson of Team GB. He was the dark horse of the race, really. He broke the British record in a splendid 3 minutes 56 seconds. That's incredibly impressive. So that was great to watch.
What's your one, Jack? Can't be far apart.
Well, my 1500 time is 3:59. So add on 109 metres, probably about 4:15.
That's fast.
Well, this is quicker. 3:56. That's impressive.
It is a bit quicker. How old's Callum Elson, Jack? Is he much older than you?
Well, yeah, he's probably
20s.
Yeah, he's probably entering his prime years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really good one for him, cementing his name, I suppose, in the media.
That's it, and that's kind of what got him noticed this week was he definitely was all over the media for that. So he's had a brilliant week, definitely a rocker. Right, shockers, and I think we're going to be kind of bogged down here with a lot of football because that was big over the weekend. Who's going to start us off here talking about the football? Mark?
I think it might be our new weekly Man United segment. So, Man United, as usual, in crisis, in turmoil. There's that term again. And they lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace on the weekend. A harrowing defeat that just adds to the pressure on Erik Ten Hag and his squad.
The pain of the fans.
And the pain of the fans.
They beat Crystal Palace in the week in the Carabao Cup, 3-1, I think.
I think that was Burnley.
No, it was Crystal Palace.
No, it was Crystal Palace.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
they beat Palace 3-1 in the week. So the only reason I know that is because we play a little predictor game with all the staff, and I thought, well, they beat them in the week, they're definitely going to beat them on the weekend. So I put Man U to beat Crystal Palace 1-0. How wrong could I be?
Obviously, they're in the midst of an injury crisis with Sofian Amrabat playing at left back.
Should any of the top teams in this country have an injury crisis? You know, you think about how much money they put into their sport. Should they have an injury crisis? You think they should have 2 or 3 players for each position at least?
Well, it's quite controversial. I think a lot of fans have been becoming more and more aware of the fact that players are pushed harder and harder these days. You know, with the commercialisation of sport, specifically football, there's a lot more games in the calendar. You could say that puts strain on players, but then again, you know, they finish the work day at 3 o'clock. They kick a few balls with a few mates and then go home to their mansions.
That's brilliant, Jack. That sounds like you're not sour at all. The athlete's dream compared to the footballer's dream.
Yeah, that's
is well lived, I'm sure.
I think your point about about teams having 2 or 3 players for each position. Man United have 3 left backs, all of whom are either not good enough or now injured. So Shaw and Reguilon are injured, whilst Brandon Williams, I'm not too sure what's going on with him.
Yeah, interesting. So they've had a bit of a shocker. It continues to be a shocker. Seems to be a continuing shocker of a decade for Man United. They're not going well.
No, we had a good season last season.
1 in 10, 1 in 10. You know, is that success for Man United? I'm not sure. Right, Liverpool and Tottenham. Somebody's going to Ben.
Yeah, I think it was just a shocking display of just human error, really, and it caused so much
For
upset.
some context, what are you talking about here?
So this was Luis Diaz's goal, which was seen as offside by the referee, and originally actually the VAR went down before the game, and they, you know, now questions are asking about why not just delay the start so you can check the VAR's working, but it was clearly not offside, and Liverpool should have had a goal.
And this is the stage when it was 0-0.
Yeah.
There's 11 men versus 11 men.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
this was before the 2 red cards and the own goal from Matip, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of definitely got
this was game changing.
Spiraled into chaos after that. So what happened next then?
So it was just the goal got taken back, and it came back to 0-0, and then of course everything unravelled. And who was it? Was it Jota? Jota got a red card.
Tottenham went 1-0 up.
Yeah, 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And then it was all level, wasn't it?
Yeah, then Liverpool scored one back.
And then the red card of Jota.
You had Jota going off first of all, and then
Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones as well. Curtis
For a
Jones straight red.
questionable tackle, because I thought he maybe played the ball first before he went into his ankle, but you know, everyone each to their own.
I guess if he's going into someone's ankle, then
yes, that's
bad news all the way around.
Doing it the proper way. And then at the end, Joel Matip just tapping that, star striker for Tottenham. I thought he was on the weekend. The way he tapped in that goal to the top bins, Alisson never stood a chance.
That was in the 95th minute as well.
Proper.
It was the last kick of the game, basically. But I think the big story here is that VAR, which is meant to be this foolproof piece of technology in sports technology, just not working, not functioning, and as a result, we've got, Ben, I think you're going to talk about what Liverpool might be doing next.
Well, I think Liverpool are pressing for... Well, there was actually a statement put out by the Premier League to say this is human error, this will be justified, It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it needs to be treated in the correct way.
Was someone talking about them suing? Or potentially suing?
A Napoli player missed a penalty and was put onto the Napoli TikTok, almost made fun of by the fact he'd missed a penalty. And him and his lawyer came out with a statement earlier this week saying that they will or can press legal action against the club. So it obviously makes it quite an awkward dynamic between the player and...
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? And I think that kind of brings into context and the discussion the role that technology is playing on people's mental health, etc.
Very much.
But also as well on the role that sport is playing and the impact as well, because we're talking about billions of pounds here. If Liverpool don't win that league because of that goal, or this league that goal, I'm sure people will be talking about it in the future.
No, I assure you Liverpool won't win the league. But anyway, the question I had is, why is it always football that has VAR and technological controls? Rugby works, cricket works.
Yeah, the TMO in rugby works.
I think it's the systems, in my opinion, it's the systems that they go through, and it's the actual criteria they have for awarding or not awarding things, and it's very transparent and very clear. And football should follow that suit, but I don't see why they don't, and they tend not to. One interesting point was that FIFA have a different VAR system to what the Premier League use, and they use it in the FIFA World Cup, which was recently just gone, and the Premier League decided not to employ the FIFA technology and stick with their own, and I think we're seeing the rewards for that now, and I don't think they'll stick with it for much longer.
I think they're building the house upside down here in Britain. I think we saw before the season kicked off a load of, they sort of heightened the stringencies of the refereeing. They're being a lot more pedantic about players, for example, gesturing to the referee, kicking balls away, which is good. But then you undermine that development when you then have the most outrageously obvious human error that denies Liverpool a goal. I know Mark said, Liverpool will never win the league, but they only a few years ago they actually lost the league by 1 point. So, it'll be just incredibly fresh in those Liverpool fans' mind, the fact that a few years ago they lost the league by 1 point, and this year they've been denied 1 or potentially 3 in one game.
Definitely makes a difference, doesn't it? I think
it does, yeah.
Right, well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing if Man United stay on the shocker list next week. And hopefully we'll talk about something more positive and no football will get in. But thank you very much, everybody, for giving up your time. And just a quick plug. So you can listen to this podcast on Spotify or on the school's intranet on YouTube. So fingers crossed it'll all be up and running. And on Spotify this Friday, you can listen to last week's episode and this week's episode, episode 2. And we'll look forward to seeing you all next week.
Like and subscribe to the pod.
Yes, Jack.